we are going to talk about turtles again. And first of all, in Schoology, I just want to see again, I've got this folder called CS Awesome Reference Materials. It's at the bottom of the class, and I've opened most all these already. The Turtle API documentation, once again, brings this up. The only thing about it is, let me get this out of the way. It's it's a turtle class, but once again, the turtle class extends the simple turtle class, and so all these methods that we're going to be using actually aren't defined in the turtle class. They're defined in the simple turtle class. So if you click on that, any link to the simple turtle, it'll bring up that, and it'll actually list all the constructors, but also all the methods. One thing I want to talk about, and we're really talking about with the student class, is just how to give it instance variables so it can store data, and then how to make a constructor or constructors, and so that you can make turtles or you can make students. And so, like I said, that's our focus right now. Is just making an object store what you want. So if you look at the simple turtle class, it has these constructors, and if I go back to the turtle class, they're mostly the same constructors. So like here, you can say new turtle, and you can give it a okay, it says model display. Really, the world is a type of model display. So you give it the location, and you tell it what world it would be in. Or you can just say new turtle and say what world it's going to be in. Those are the two main ways we can make a turtle. And so what I want you to appreciate is that constructor should obviously make a turtle, but it also should give it this data, those coordinates. And likewise, the simple turtle constructor would do the same thing. Now, here's a picture of what a turtle looks like. Here's all the attributes a turtle object has. It stores a name, a color, the dimensions, and its location. And then here's most of the methods that it has. Notice you can change the color, you can change the width and height after you created it. And you can also change its location. How? Well, by doing the move methods. Of course, turn left, turn right don't change the location. They do change the orientation, which wasn't mentioned here, but it stores it's called its heading. That's another instance variable that every turtle has. And so here, let me go to the turtle class. This is actually the simple turtle class. And so here it says public class simple turtle, and here's all the fields or instance variables. And if I want to scroll down to these, it says int width equals 15, int height equals 18, and then x position and y position are both set to 0. So these are instance variables that store that data, and its heading is 0, which is facing north. And notice that's a double, so that can be a decimal. And there's other instance variables, but that's just what I want to focus on right now. So once again, the variable names they chose were width, height, x position, y position. So if I come down to the constructors, and you can have more than one constructor. The first one, where you just specify the location, notice it replaces the zeros that x position and y position were storing with the inputs. And once again, these are two sets of variables. Up here, when I talk about the instance variables, that is the data the object will store. As long as this object's in your program, if you imagine in your main method, you made a new turtle, and you're moving that turtle around, then that turtle persists, and it has all these variables, instance variables, to store its data, to keep track of like where it is and how big it is. So these are like part of the object. And so when I say x position and y position, those are the variables for the object. Whereas x and y, those are just temporary parameters. So once again, when they call the constructor, the numbers you give it are stored in x and y temporarily. These two statements are to get the data out of those temporary variables and into the instance variables. And we'll do the same thing with the student class. Now, if I scroll down, there are other constructors, and there's a number of them, and let me just go back here actually and just say we can have as many constructors as we want. And so when I go to the student class, I'll start talking about that, about how to make more constructors and why to have more than one. The basic answer is why to have more than one is because sometimes you don't know everything about an object at the time you create it, and so you basically want to give the user options. Okay, in the next video we will talk about how to extend our student class that we made last time.